Welcome back to SME Insights at the SME Mission Critical Workforce 2030 exhibit. I'm Dan Sloan, Director of Strategic Partnerships here at SME, and today I'd like to introduce Rob Luce, Vice President of the SME Education Foundation, where we're going to explore how the Education Foundation is inspiring, engaging, and educating the next generation of manufacturing talent. So welcome, Rob. Tell me a little bit about the SME Education Foundation.
So the SME Education Foundation was established in 1979 as the philanthropic arm of SME. Our mission is to inspire, prepare, and support the next generation of manufacturing and engineering talent. And we execute on that mission through the delivery of three distinct programs that collectively serve about 12,000 high school students on an annual basis.
Terrific. So we're here at the Rapid Plus TCD event in Detroit. I understand you have some scholarships that you've been handing out?
Yes, our Bright Minds Student Summit program. Through that program, the foundation is responsible for bringing in about 300 high school students from the surrounding area, and we provide them with a one-day curated experience of the show, complete with technology demonstrations. They hear from keynote speakers. They're provided with guided tours of the show floor. While they're touring the show floor, they're accumulating points. And at the end of the day, the school with the most points receives some 3D printers. They go home with some equipment. It's really designed to expose these students, oftentimes for the first time, to manufacturing and dispel the myth that manufacturing is a dirty industry, that it's a dull industry, that it's a dying industry, that it's actually quite clean, it's quite high tech, and can be pretty lucrative depending on what your particular career path may be.
It's really amazing. You must be hearing some incredible feedback from the students, the parents, the educators. What kind of feedback have you heard from the program?
Testimonials are fantastic. Yep. Oftentimes, again, these students have never really even considered manufacturing or what their role in manufacturing might be. So the response is somewhat surprising. And I don't mean surprising to me, it's surprising to them, because again, manufacturing wasn't even really in their wheelhouse, and then they come to an event like Rapid Plus TCT and they see things being 3D printed in real time. It's impressive. It's impressive technology, and it's the technology that really hooks these kids and gets them to consider how they might participate in the manufacturing space.
Providing that access to technology is critical. Tell me a little bit about how the Education Foundation is bringing the technology out to the communities and out to the high schools and carry that inspiration into those classrooms.
So our signature program is a program called PRIME. PRIME is an acronym. It stands for Partnership, Response, and Manufacturing Education. It's a mouthful.
Yeah.
PRIME for short. The key word there is partnership.
Yeah.
Essentially what we do with PRIME is we partner the private sector, so manufacturers, with the local high school, to build a custom manufacturing education program inside of that high school, complete with equipment and curriculum and teacher training. We provide funding for extracurricular activities. We provide scholarships to the students. We even provide sustainability funding to ensure that these schools have the resources they need to maintain these programs 5, 10, 15 years into the future. We provide instruction on everything from machining and fabrication to industrial maintenance and welding, mechatronics and robotics. Additive manufacturing is a big part of PRIME. Again, the idea is to, number one, expose these kids to the technology, but then train them and oftentimes certify them on industry relevant skill sets that the employers in their community have told us on the front end, this is what we need more of.
That's really important. So what you're saying is that your program, as part of building the curriculum, is actually connecting to the employers and the specific needs in that region?
It's critical.
Yeah.
The program is dependent upon connecting with the private sector. PRIME has never been an off-the-shelf, out-of-the-box, cookie-cutter type program. We're in 120 schools across 25 states, and not one of those programs looks the same as the other program. Every program is tailored to meet the needs of those local manufacturers. So the program in my community doesn't necessarily look like the program in your community, even if our communities are side by side.
If I'm a school district or a superintendent and I want to get more involved with advanced manufacturing, but maybe there's a gap in the skills or backgrounds of my teachers, is there something that the PRIME program can do to equip my teachers to respond to those specific technologies?
There is. In fact, that's usually the first deliverable that we provide the school when we go in with the PRIME program. We send the teachers to different training institutions around the country to become certified on a particular manufacturing process or on a particular piece of equipment so that they can come back into the classroom and certify the students. As long as the school has a teacher, we're willing to bring that teacher up to speed from an instruction standpoint so that they feel comfortable and confident instructing the students in the classroom. I should mention that all of this is provided at no charge to the schools. All of the deliverables that we're talking about are provided complimentary to the schools.
Can you talk a little bit more about that? How is the SME Education Foundation able to provide this kind of philanthropic work on behalf of industry?
I ask myself that question some days. No, we have a very robust fundraising operation that fundraises for all of our programs, but specifically for Prime. Historically, Prime was funded by the private sector, so the same companies that were participating in that curriculum development process were also writing a check and funding the program, providing for the equipment and the teacher training. And
it's an investment in their future,
it's
really.
an investment in their future, and that model was successful enough. We built the program up to about 50 schools across the country. But 2 or 3 years ago, we shifted our strategy to focus more predominantly on the public sector and engaging with state departments of education and state governments, and in some instances the federal government, to explore their appetites for developing statewide multi-school programs, developing 5, 10, 15 schools at a time, geographically spread across the entire state. And that model has been very successful. We've been able to double the number of Prime schools across the country over the past couple of years.
So as you scale with the states, tell me a little bit about the role of, say, industry credentialing and maybe how you might then dovetail into what awaits outside of graduation, perhaps at the local community college or university.
It's a great question, and the answer is largely a solution that is provided in partnership with Tooling USME. So I mentioned a little bit about the curriculum being tailored to meet the needs of local industry. That tailoring, if you will, is done by the Learning Services Group at Tooling USME. And that curriculum, not only is it aligned with state education standards and federal CIP codes, it's also aligned with over 45 different industry recognized credentials and certifications, ensuring that the student is obtaining different credentials and certifications as they're progressing through the program, ensuring that when they graduate, they're graduating with a handful of certifications that the employers in their community demand.
So I know you work with some pretty interesting partners that are exciting and energizing here at the event. Tell us a little bit about a few of the partners that you work with in the classrooms in some of these communities.
Well, I can't say enough about Tooling USME. The meat on the bones, if you will, is the curriculum. And all of that curriculum, again, is provided by Tooling USME. Not only is Tooling USME providing Tooling USME content, they're also developing the overall curriculum plan that incorporates other curriculum from some of our equipment vendors. So the partnership between the foundation and Tooling USME is the foundation, pun intended, of the Prime program. Outside of the curriculum space, we have a number of fantastic partners, passionate partners that are involved with Prime from an equipment standpoint. Stratasys, Fanuc, Festo, Haas, Lincoln Electric, just to name a few, and I know I'm forgetting some, so please don't hold me too accountable. But not only are they providing the equipment, they're providing curriculum that comes with the equipment. They're providing it at a substantially reduced rate. They're providing themselves training. You asked about training earlier. A lot of the training that is provided is done by the equipment vendors themselves. Again, we couldn't do Prime. At least we couldn't do Prime the way we do Prime without the dedicated support and engagement of our partners, whether it be equipment providers or others.
This sounds terrific. This is like STEM 2.0, STEM 10.0, because now these students are getting their hands on the technologies and working with some of the equipment that they might find actually out there in the world waiting for them. What's been some of the impact? Are you able to share any of some of the figures as you look to scale across the nation?
Certainly, yeah. So through our Prime program, every year, on average, there are about 10,000 students going through the program. And about a quarter of those 10,000 students, so 2,500 students, are seniors. And we found pretty consistently year over year that 91% of seniors that graduate from a Prime program do in fact pursue manufacturing post-graduation. Now, we're not so naive as to think that all 91% chose manufacturing because of Prime. Certainly some of those kids were already on their way, but we think because of the exposure to the technology and the curriculum and some of the project-based learning that comes with the Prime program, we're moving the needle more than it would have been moved otherwise, so we're very, very proud of that fact.
It's fabulous. So as we get ready to wrap up a wonderful week here in Detroit for the Rapid plus TCT event, and you've had an opportunity to engage the Bright Minds community and the scholarship award winners, what are some of your closing thoughts as you get ready to wrap up on a fabulous event this week?
More is better. As exciting as it is to be here, and as exciting as it is to have the programs that we're talking about, you know, the industry is starving for talent. That's not a surprise. 500,000 unfilled manufacturing jobs as we sit here today, maybe more. That number stands to increase by a factor of 5 by the end of the decade. So the industry is really looking at a significant talent crisis, and programs like Prime are the solution, or they're part of the solution. But we need more programs, and we need more students enrolled in those programs. The more collaboration there is, the sooner the crisis will be solved.
Couldn't agree with you more. Thank you to you and your team for your amazing work and for sharing your thoughts and your experience here with SME Insights at Rapid plus TCT. Thank you very much, Rob.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.